Okay. It is February 7th, and here I am to recount details of what happened between January 16th and January 22nd, because it must be said. Firstly, what happened, what you need to know is that I feel like it doesn't snow around here. I feel like it used to snow around here, but I feel like for the past couple of years, it hasn't really snowed around here. Or if it has snowed, I've been too caught up with homework to go out and sled. But this year, my eyes were open. My homework was not really existent, kind of. I don't know. I didn't really have homework. I kind of have homework. It's okay if I don't do it though. So I wasn't doing my homework. I was looking outside, and what I found was the most beautiful snowfall to ever hit this area in a long while. So of course I had to go sledding. And this all started because I was on the phone with my friend Ellen on January 13th, 14th, whatever. I don't remember. It was a Saturday. We called. We spent 4 hours on the phone that night. She lives in New York. I live in Maryland. And by the end of the call, we had a plan that she was going to come visit me in 2 days. And the next day, she booked her bus ticket. And the day after that, she arrived. And then the day after that, we went sledding. So it was already the first time I went sledding this season. I was already so happy, so elated, so joyful from being in the mere presence of Ellen Davis. And then on top of that, Ellen grew up in Atlanta, right? Like she's from Atlanta. It does not snow in Atlanta. And she's been in New York like the past, like last year, this year. It hasn't really been snowing in New York either. So she hasn't really had like a first snowfall either. So the day that we went sledding, we woke up bright and early. It was maybe 10 or 11 a.m. We went downstairs, we did all our things, and then we went out to shovel the driveway. And it was so much fun because Ellen had never shoveled the driveway before. And I guess I had shoveled the driveway, but I hadn't done it in a long time. So we were both kind of shoveling the driveway like newborn birds. And then right after the driveway was all shoveled, everything was all clean, everything was perfect conditions for us to head out to hill number one. Hill number one is a hill surrounded by myth. Because hill number one, I only remember in my very way far back memory from best friend number one in my life. I remember this was elementary school. We had a snow day. I lived outside of the school district, kind of, but I still went to that school somehow. So I wasn't really too familiar with the hill terrain near my elementary school. But best friend number one lived by my elementary school, and she was like, "Oh, it's a snow day. Come over and sled." And my mom actually agreed for once. So my mom sent me over. I sledded, and it was the most fun I'd ever had for like a 7-year old because I feel like I saw so many kids from my class just outside sledding, and there was this one kid who had like a snowboard, like a fake snowboard, and I was like sledding. I was like snowboarding down the hill, and he was even like, "Wait, you're kind of good at this," and I'm like, "I know I'm kind of good at this." Like it was so fun. But I have not been to that hill since then. So I was just saying to Ellen, listen, I know it's somewhere near my elementary school, but I don't know where it is. But then our questions were soon answered because because we saw like a bunch of cars lined up on the road, just like one after the other. And Ellen was like, I think it's right here. And it was so beautiful. I have visual aids. I have visual aids. It was so gorgeous. Look at that hill. Is that not the most idyllic, sort of like gorgeous snowfall possible area of sledding possible? And that was so fun. that was our first time sledding together ever. I think it was maybe Ellen's first time sledding ever, and it was my first time sledding in a very long time because I maybe haven't gone sledding since like, I don't know, middle school or something. Um, that was like maybe that was like 10 years ago. I haven't been sledding in so long, and I finally went sledding. And then Ellen was like all giddy because she was like never, never, ever done it before. And then in my head, I was like a pro at this, right? Like I grew up sledding. I know how sleds work. I was like, she's tittering over this hill. It's so fine. I know it's gonna be so fine. We'll go down it easy breezy with ease. And then, and it was like a small little bump of a hill too. I was like, this is easy. But then the sled starts like curving forward and we start going and we start getting speed and we're going so fast. By the time we get to the bottom of the hill, which takes maybe 5 to 10 seconds, we're like laughing so much and we can't stop. We're just like absolutely imbued with the pure elation of having just gone down a hill together on a sled. And it was like worlds unfounded of joy just opened up to me. I had never felt it was like, when was the last time I laughed out of just pure zeal for life? When was that? I can't tell you. I can't let you know. But we get to the bottom of the hill and we're straight up like we have to take like a whole minute to get all of our giggles out because we're just laughing like crazy. It is the most fun anyone can ever have. And it's all for free because Mother Nature loves us. Thank you, Mother Nature. But that was hill number one. We went down the baby hill a couple more times because it was so much fun. And then we went down like the big kids hill, which is kind of scary because there was like a bump even, and we were trying to like hit the bump, but we didn't really hit it. And then we there were like many hills in this little area because it like went down like that. You know, it all like went down into a field and we were trying all the different hills. And it was so much fun that that we had to go back into the car for like a rest break. And then I wanted to keep sledding, so then Ellen just stayed in the car for like an hour with the heat on as I went out and sledded some more. But it was so fun. And I'm honestly surprised that we were the biggest kids there because where was everyone else? You know, I'm like, I know not all of y'all are working right now. And even if you are working, I know some of y'all have remote jobs. Like, you could totally just set your status to away on Slack and go out for an hour and sled. You know what I mean? So that's the mystery at the heart of the 20 something American zeitgeist that I'm trying to get at here. Where have all the sledders gone? Where have all the sledders gone? At one point, me and Ellen were walking. I think we were walking back to the car to like do our little rest, and Ellen was like, "Oh look, there's some other big kids coming," and then I was like, I saw them, and I was like, "Oh my god, should we go talk to them?" And then Ellen was like, I think they're in like middle school." So we didn't go talk to them. But I feel like it's very telling that the biggest kids there, other than us, were just middle schoolers. Like, we need to be, first of all, one big reason I'm making this video, I need to spread the gospel of sledding. If there's anyone out there who still has the chance to go sled, you need to do it right now. Because it needs to be priority number one, too. Because snow is a temporally binded thing. Like, it comes and it goes, and you don't know when it's gonna come again, and you don't know when it's gonna go again. You kind of know when it's gonna go. It lasts only like a few days. It's like every year you just have like this tiny little window of like gorgeous, beautiful winter wonderland where you can go out and sled. And I don't think some of y'all are taking advantage of that enough. But alright, that is sled. That is hill number one. And it was so much fun, and I was so happy. And then the next day, which was Wednesday, Ellen had to go back to New York, so it was very sad for us. But then the day after that was Thursday, where me and my friend Noah went sledding again on the hill by where I used to live. because this is like the house we're in right now. My parents and I moved into when I was in middle school, but most of my sledding days, like if not all of my sledding days, were spent sledding on this one specific hill behind the old townhouse we used to live in. So I took Noah there, and it was actually crazy. Noah thought he understood the physics and dynamics of going down a hill on a sled, and he was like, "Yeah, like I've been sledding before, Sabrina. I understand this." Because I kept on badgering him. I was like, "You don't understand. Like it's gonna be so much fun. You're gonna have such a great time. We're gonna be laughing all the way home. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be like the most amazing thing ever. Worlds will open up to you. I'm telling you, third eye open after you go sledding." And he was like, yeah, I understand. And I was like, "Have you ever gone down a sled with two people? Because I'm an only child, so I haven't done that." But then like me and Ellen realized later that maybe part of the reason why we were having the most fun out of all the kids on the sledding hill, because like some of those kids, they would just like go down, they would go down the big kid hill, and then they would reach the bottom and they wouldn't even be laughing with glee or joy or anything. And we were like, what, who, like, what are you doing? But then we were like, maybe we're having more fun because we're two people on the sled, so the mass and everything and the velocity, you know what I, we're going quicker, than everyone else, so maybe that's why. And then I was telling Noah, I'm like, "Have you ever gone down with two people?" And he literally has a younger sister, so he was like, "Yeah, I've gone down with my sister." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And at that point, I was like, okay, I guess maybe Noah knows what he's talking about. Maybe Noah does understand, like, the gravity that sledding holds. But it kind of didn't seem like he did. I was like, but maybe he does. Because, like, logically, he's been sledding before. He's been sledding with two people before. He's been down hills. He gets it. But then we came down this hill, and it was actually way steeper than I imagined. Like steep to the point where like this is Noah trying to get up the hill, and he falls, and he literally sleds all the way down the hill. Like we were falling, we were tripping, we were stumbling, trying to get ourselves up the hill in the first place so that we could go down. Like gravity was out to get us that day. But so we go down the hill the first time, and Noah is like absolutely pure exhilaration, enticement, elation. He gets to the bottom of the hill and he's like wide eyed. It's like he just learned what candy was. You know what I mean? He's like immediately, we have to do that again. He is so shocked. The sledding does wonders to the American psyche. I think what you don't understand here is that I'm not sure there's any problem that cannot be fixed by two people, putting two people in a sled and sending them down a really good hill. I can't imagine anything in the world that can't make better. You know what I mean? So we were laughing, we were giggling, we were running around, we were tossing snowballs at each other. We were having the best time ever. We were trekking up the hill. We were sledding down the hill. We tried to build a ramp at one point, but it goes kind of bad and it never gets packed enough for us to actually be able to like go off the ramp, but it's still so much fun. I think the heart of what you need to understand here, and like the main point that I'm really just going back to and trying to drive across this whole time, is that it is so much fun to go sledding. And you might be sitting there, you might be thinking, "Yeah, Sabrina, I understand, I've been sledding before." Or, "Yeah, Sabrina, I know what you're saying, I know what a sled is." But I don't, unless you really physically put yourself back into that position of being one body, preferably with another body, on a sled, I'm not sure you can fully understand and come to terms with how how just like stupendous it is to be on a sled going down a hill. No things, I can think of nothing better. Truly, no thing better. And that was hill number two. It was so much fun. I love hill number two. When I was on hill number two, I was like, I actually kind of remember why I kind of didn't like sledding as a kid, because how was I 2 feet tall, like making my way up this hill? Like I'm more than 5 feet tall now, and I still can't really get up in one piece. And I have more horsepower now too. I really don't know how I was doing it at such a young age. And that was hill number two. But we're only getting started, really, because Friday it snowed like a lot more, like a lot more. Like when Ellen was here, it snowed and there was snowfall, and on Friday it snowed way more, to the point where I wasn't even able to exit the house to go sledding because it was just snowing so much. The roads weren't safe, the conditions weren't right. But then Saturday morning, bright and early, I go to my friend Michael's house to pick him up, and we go to his middle school right by his house, and we go sledding. And this was, I don't know. I'm not sure if it was like the hill or like what was going on. Oh, I also made a snowman when it was snowing. But for this, I felt like it wasn't hitting me as much for some reason. Like maybe I was all sledded out. Maybe after hill number two, which was so steep and so just like Daredevil esque, I just couldn't go back to just like a baby hill. I don't know what it was, but for some reason, hill number three was not really hitting as much, other than the time when we went down and I hit my tailbone and it actually really hurt. And then it did really hit me. You know what I mean? I mean, like, it was still fun. There was a ramp. That's why it hurt so much, because there was a ramp. But it was fun. It was very sweet, very calm. It was our morning sled. You know what I mean? It was like we were waking up. This is our first hill of the day. It's chill. But after a bit, I think Mike was having a great time though. I wanna make clear that while I'm like feeling just okay about it, I can tell that Mike was like really living it up, because this is his first sled of the season. Because he kept on being wait, and I'm like, yeah, yes, Michael, I know. And then after that, we go back to my house for like dumplings and hot chocolate. And then we go out to the slopes again, this time because Michael had also heard of a hill by hearsay that was near our area. So we were like, okay, like let's go check it out. And I'm like driving. We know it's by this high school, right? I'm like driving by this high school. I'm in the driver's seat. I'm like, Michael, is it here? Is it here? Is it here? And it's like we're like fully around the high school at this point, like leaving the high school premises. And I'm like, girl, where is this hill? Like, what are we doing here? But just as I'm about to like lose faith in the journey, the car goes along this road where the trees just open up to like the most kind of regal, magnificent hill that we've ever seen, to the point where like me and Michael literally have to like stop and look at each other and just go, whoa, whoa. So we park, we go to the hill. It's like actually, we feel like we're in the wilderness. There's no one else on the hill when we get there. And it's like it had just snowed the day before, so the snow was fresh. And you have to like walk a little bit to like get to the hill in the first place. Let me show you. Oh, yeah. So this was hill number 3. You can see there's like a little ramp over there. I think that's like a kid with a sled that just like fell off after they hit the ramp. And there's like all the parents on the top of the hill. Um, and this was the slope. This was the slope. Do you see that? That's literally like, it literally felt like we were like Lewis and Clark in the, like, that is probably how Columbus felt. Yes? Yes, no? We were forging new grounds, making new footprints in places that people had never before stepped after the snow finished falling last night. You know? And it was so much fun. It was like, it wasn't necessarily very steep, but it was like very long. And it was like, it it really felt like just going down the hill, like going up the hill obviously was a journey, but like going down the hill was a journey too. And we were laughing so much, we were having so much fun. It was like shocking how good the hill was. Um and then Michael lost his phone, so we had to like look around in the snow for his phone, and I got really scared there for a minute. He had to like go to work at 4, so he had to leave by like 3:30, and it was like 2 when he lost his phone, and I was like, okay, okay, let's just like buckle down. Let's just use this last hour to like really find your phone. And we were just like looking in all the grasses and not being able to find anything. I really thought it was a goner. But then eventually he found his phone, and I was like, okay, okay, maybe let's keep tabs on that object for a while now. But it was really fun. And we met this guy there who was like, he was out sledding with like his kid and his kid's friends. There were like 3 teenagers and then like one dad. And we honestly didn't know. We thought that he was one of the teenagers too. But then he was like, yeah, I'm just hanging out with my kid and his friends. And we're like, wow, you're having so much fun. And he was like, keep on having fun. Never stop having fun. And we were like, thank you. So that was hill number 4. And then Michael had to go to work, but I was still in the mood to sled. So I wanted to go sledding with my friend Ming Ming, but because I was just like, I was really, when I say I was spreading the gospel, I was really spreading the gospel. I was trying to let everyone know how great it was to sled, because it's an amazing gift. If you think about it, it's really like a stunning blessing that has been sort of like plopped directly in our lap, right? The ability to go out to any hill and just sled down it with a friend. I think there's something really profound going on when that happens. But we don't talk about it. I don't think we talk about sledding enough as like an American culture, you know? And I think it would do us some good if we started having more of these conversations out in the public. But I went over to Ming Ming's. She couldn't slide because, okay, valid, because she had to get on a plane the next day to go to California. Um, but I was just like saying bye to her, and then after that, I was still in the mood to sled. So I called up my mom, and I was like, "Will you go sledding with me?" And she was like, "Okay." So I go back. She's like, "As long as it's before dark." So I go back. The sun is already kind of setting, but I'm like, "Let's go sledding. Let's go sledding." And she's like, "Okay, fine, we'll go sledding." And she says to my dad, like, "We'll be back in an hour or something." I was not prepared for this hill. My mom was not prepared for this hill. I somehow brought my mom to like the most intimidating, the biggest hill in all of America, I think, was what was happening at this middle school hillside that we were going to. The first sign that something was different about this hill as opposed to the previous 4 hills that we had gone to was that we started like walking into the main hill area, and we just see like a bunch of literal like battered up like pieces of plastic sleds just like shoved to the side under some tree. There's like mountains of these plastic sled shards going on at this hill. And that should have been our first sign. That's something had gone wrong, but instead, in my head, I was just like, oh, well, those sleds were just poor quality. But it was probably both, right? It was probably both. And at that point, we hadn't even gotten to the biggest hill yet. Like, these sled shards were by the baby hill portion of this massive hill. And then we get to the hill, and my mom is scared. And it should be noted that my mom is scared in general. She's very like won't go on roller coasters, like scared of anything that goes that like won't go on any of the fun rides, won't go swimming. She's scared of swimming. She's scared. She's scared of cats. She's scared of animals. She has a lot of fear in her about things that other people would typically find fun and enjoyable. So, me seeing this hill, eyes gleaming like never before. My mom seeing this hill, petrified, paralysis. And to be fair, it was like this hill was big enough to the point where I was even like a little bit scared myself because it actually looked like like a ski resort, like a massive hill ski resort. And that's my mom. But it was a really big hill. Um, and we went down it, and I was like kind of nervous, but trying to put on a brave face. So I was like, "It's okay, mom. It's okay. Like I'll lead. We'll be so fine. We'll be so safe. This is very, very safe." I didn't understand that sledding could be dangerous until this hill, but it really can. Um, we went down it, and like you know how I was talking about like hill number 3, I felt like I had kind of lost the magic, and hill number 4 too. Like it was fun, but I don't know. There was something about like the sheer exhilaration from hills number 1 and 2 that wasn't present in hills 3 and 4 to me. But hill 5 brought it back. Hill 5, mammoth of a hill you are, took me back. I was convulsing in laughter the whole way down. I had absolutely no idea. I was scared. I was screaming. I was yelling. I was so loud. My mom was screaming. My mom was yelling. We get to the bottom. We have to take like many, many minutes to recover because we were just gasping with laughter and trying to catch our breaths after the hill we just went down. But it was a beautiful experience, and I'm so glad I was able to go down that hill the first time with my mom. But it was scary because the other hills we went to had all like opened out into a big field, but this one it went there was like a little bit of field, but most times you needed to like physically try to stop yourself or else you were gonna go straight into the trees. And that almost happened to us, and my mom was so worried, but it was so worth it. So we go down that hill like a few times. Every time we get to the bottom, and I'm like, Mom, again? My mom is like, huh? You want me to do that again? But she doesn't, and it's fun. And it's getting dark, and she's screaming, but I know she's having a good time. She's having a good time. My mom likes fun. Where do I get it from? I get it from my mom. I love fun. And then that was the end of the day. Saturday was really like the major sledding extravaganza day for me because I hit up literally 3 hills in one day. And the next day I went sledding again. So this I went to like where my friends are. a lot of my friends live like half an hour from me. So I was like, let me just go over there and go sledding with them and see what's up with the hills over there. I found out because that area is like more urban. I was like, oh, so this is there are not so many hill options over here than there are at my house. Because I feel like over here, there's like, we have like five like amazing hills within like a 3 mile radius. You know what I mean? But right there, some of the hills were really, there was only one hill. So we went to like that one hill, which was at a middle school. I'm hitting up all the middle school hills. I'm really riding the middle school hill circuit at this point. But we go there. I pick up my friend Evie from the metro. My other friends. It's like a group. It's like Kat, Kayla, Alice, and Justin. There's like four of them. They're already sledding. They're already going down the hill. They're already having a good time. And it's fun. It's fun. And I'm just like, let's go down. Let's go down. Two people. And they're like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, what are you doing? You guys have been here the whole time and you haven't even gone down the hill with two people on one sled, even though you are four people with one sled. um, so then we all went down the hill in like pairs, and it was really fun and really sweet and really cute, and everyone was giggling and everyone was laughing. And then we got tired, so we started just like laying in the grass in the snow. And at this point, I felt like the snow was already getting like, especially over here, because that was like the one hill in the area that everyone went to. So the snow was like packed hard, like it was icy. Um, and then my friend Michael, if you remember from Hills 3 and 4, came to join us for my hill number 6. Um, and then when we started sledding again, we like there were like some little kids that were kind of like trying to amp us up to go down this hill and like hit the ramp, two people at a time. And I was like down for it, but me and I think I went down with Evie. We kept on missing the little ramp. And I also remember how I said I had hit my tailbone. I will say that like by Sunday, I was physically sore from sledding. Like like sledding had taken a toll on me, but especially on the tailbone region. Well, we tried to do that a few times, and it it's we don't hit it, but it's still fun. We're still having a good time. It's a splendor to be in the snow sledding with friends. It really is. It's the simple things. It's the simple things. And I will have you know that later Justin also like said personally to me about something about how like fun it was to just go sledding, because he was like, I haven't been out with a group of friends to just like do something fun in a while. So that was like really nice. And I'm like, I'm so glad I'm so glad that I could share this with you. You know what I mean? Like I'm so glad that you were down to come sledding. I'm so glad that everyone else came sledding too. I'm so glad that sledding was able to have the impact on you that it has had on me. And that's the other thing I will say. I feel like sometimes I'm someone who kind of like periodically goes into these things where I'm just like very into one thing because it has like a very strong impact on me, but it won't necessarily have like the same impact on everyone else. Even though for like that period of time where I'm very into it, I insist on shoving it down everyone else's throats, but it won't necessarily have the same impact on them. But sledding, I think sledding is like actually the one thing where other people's experiences of it and like the impact that it's had on other people has kind of matched the impact that it's had on me, which is major. It's very, very major. But yeah, we're going down this hill. Michael is kind of sledding by himself at this point, and me and Evie were like done from going down the hill, whichever time we're going down in, and we're like, let's go check on Michael. And then he looks like we take a look over, and it looks like he's just lying in pain at the bottom of the hill, and we're like, oh no, it looks like something actually happened. So we go down. we like we we're at like the top of the hill, and we're like, we need to go save him. So then we're like, we should sled down to save him. He's still in pain at this point, and we just go down on the sled and make wee wee sounds at the same time. But then when we get there, it looks like he's like actually in pain, and we're like, oh no. Because what happened was like he went down the sled and like hit, like his hip like rammed into the pole, which was not good for his body. So then we're like trying to figure out what to do. I'm like, Michael, maybe lay, because this helped me when I hit my tailbone on hill number 3. I was like, maybe lay with like on this ice, like the snow, because it's like ice at this point basically. Just like lay with your bruise or like wherever it hurts on the snow. And he does that, and we're like trying to figure out what else to do. And I'm like, do you want water? I can get you some water. There's some water in my car. And he's like, yeah, I could go for some water. So Evie stays with him. I go get water. On the way to the car to get water, I see my friend Atem. I had no idea Atem was coming. I had like mentioned to him that I was going sledding at this time with like these people at this place, but I hadn't really heard any like confirmation or non-confirmation from Atem of like whether or not he was actually coming. And I saw that he came, and we hadn't seen each other in like a minute, and I was like, oh my god, it's him. And I completely forgot about like my rescue mission and just had like a full-on little reunion moment with Atem in the parking lot, and we were just catching up, and it was just so sweet to see him. And I gave him like one of my CDs, and it was really, really nice. And we were hugging, and we were just talking, and I got the water, and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, Mike was in pain right now, so maybe we should go quicker. So we go, and Atam doesn't have a sled, but he's a skater, so he's like, I have some old skateboard decks in the back that we could use as sleds. And I'm like, okay, down. And we go back. We're at the top of the hill. We obviously have to get down the hill to where Michael and Evie are sitting. And I'm not saying this to be insensitive, but I'm just saying it's the only logical conclusion that to get from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill, you have to sled down the hill. That's just the quickest way to get there. So we sled down the hill again, and we do the wee sounds again, and we get to Michael, and he seems to be doing a little bit better. And I give him the water, and we're just all chilling for a little bit. And Atam loves it. Atam loves the hill. That is also his first sled of the season. And he's just having a ball to the point where, like, we're all having fun. Atam brought his camera, so we want to, like, record one time with, like, Atam going down the sled, or, like, I don't know, us going down the slides in, like, different pairings. So we're recording, we're having fun, and it's a grand old time, and everyone's laughing. Even Michael, even though he has a really big bruise on his hip, everyone's still having a great time. Oh, at this point, I forgot to mention, like, my other friends left. Like, Kat, Justin, Kayla, Allison, like, they left already. So it's the second round of sledding on this hill. And Evie has to go soon for work too. So I'm like, I need to send Evie to the metro. But and Michael's like, yeah, I probably need to go home to heal. But Sam's just like, wait, I want to stay for a bit to just sled. And that is the power of sledding. Sledding makes you just want to sled. And sledding is so fun. And sledding makes you happy. It literally makes you happy. I'm realizing this myself. I realize that these days I'm feeling happy, which is something notable that doesn't happen all the time for me, okay? Or if it does happen, it's like, it gets cut off. But these days, I feel like I have sustained happiness, and like retrospectively, I do feel that some of the factors which allowed me to feel so happy right now is because I went sledding like 5 times in a week. And that's just the honest truth of it. But that day was great, amazing, so fun. That night we go home. Me, my friend Justin, my friend Ellen, my friend Kyle have like this kind of like group chat Substack thing going on, and we had a meeting for that, and Kyle was there. And of course, we were just chatting about our weeks, and I was like, guys, everyone needs to go sledding. At this point, Kyle is the only person in this group that hasn't gone sledding. So I'm really like, Kyle, like, you need to come sledding right now. You just have to. And I say that knowing that Kyle is kind of like, um, he's like a stickler for the rules sometimes. You know what I mean? And for him to come sledding on Monday would require him to fake like call in sick to his job. And I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, of course I want Kyle. Of course I want Kyle to call in sick to his job so that he could come sledding with me. But I don't know how likely it is that it will actually happen. But lo and behold, Monday morning, I wake up, I like call Kyle, and Kyle's like, I was just drafting the message to my boss to call in sick. And I'm like, okay, great. And he's like, I'll be at your house at 2. So at 2, he comes. I make his hot chocolate. It's very fun. It's very wintry. And at this point, there's another hill on the horizon. How many hills are we at right now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hill number 7. Hill number 7 is a hill shrouded in mystery. And that actually really fits with the number 7 because that's just the aura of the number in numerology, I'm pretty sure. Mystery, intrigue, deceit. Because hill number 7, all we know about this hill is that I call my friend Aditya and I try to get him to come sledding, and he wouldn't because for some reason he has other things to do in his life besides go sledding, even though it's a weekend. I'm like, I don't understand why you're not clearing out your whole calendar right now so that you can go sledding. But I digress. We were talking about sledding, and I told him about like the mammoth ski slope on the middle school hill, and he was like, I honestly think that the hill by my house is a better hill. And I was like, oh really? Because like that middle school hill was crazy, like actually crazy. And he was like, yeah. But to be fair, he was like, I've never sledded down the middle school hill, but I still think the hill by my house is better. So maybe there was some like home base biases, home team bias over there. But I was like, okay, Aditya, well, now you have to send me your hill. Send me instructions to how to get to your hill. And he drops me the literal coordinates. It's like we're going to a rave. The coordinates of the hill have landed in my text message inbox. And I say to Kyle, like, listen, all we have to go on for this hill is just this sequence of numbers. Oh, also, I forgot to mention Sunday too. Like, Sunday after the hill, I wanted to go sledding with Noah again too at like a different hill that he had brought up. But then his body was also in misarray. So instead, we just watched like a really campy B-side movie at his house, and I ate like half the food in his fridge as he emailed a professor back. But that was fun. That was fun. Monday, flash forward to Monday again. We're at the coordinates, and I'm like, I don't know about this hill. First of all, when I look at the hill, I'm like, what are we supposed to do with this? What are we supposed to do with this? It's literally green. We can't go down it. And then the cow was like, it honestly doesn't even matter if we can or can't go down it because it goes straight into the sewer. And I was like, what is Aditya talking about? Like, what is so good about this hill? And then we looked to the other side of the hill, and we are like, okay, I guess it's like a little bit better over here. It's like a good hill. It's a decent hill. You know, it's a fun hill. But still nothing compared to that middle school hill. Which is what Kyle doesn't know yet. because Kyle's going down this hill and he's already like getting giddy, laughing it up. I am kind of stone faced going down these hills comparatively. Comparatively, of course, I'm still giggling, but comparatively, um, I'm kind of stone faced because I'm just like, I cannot believe this man hyped up this hill so much and it's not even that good, you know? But we go down the hills. It's still fun. We make snow angels. We find this like baby, like purple baby booster seat sled to go down the hill in. So we do that, and it's kind of a riot. You know, it's a scream. We're like pulling each other around in the baby booster seat hill, baby booster seat sled, and it's fun. We're having a good time, but I'm just like, okay, Kyle, listen, like, if I'm being really honest with you, I need you to come to this middle school with me. And so we go. We're debating a little bit if we should go to this hill by the hospital because also the subtext is that my grandpa was like hospitalized for a little bit during this sledding adventure and I was like really nervous and stressed out about it. Um, but it didn't seem like anyone else in my family was. But my dad like came back from the hospital like the night before or something, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, Sabrina. By the way, I saw like a fun hill by the hospital. If you want to go check it out." But I like Google the hospital, and I'm like, "There's like multiple different locations for this hospital. We don't know where this hill is. Let's just go to the middle school. It's too much. We're just going to the middle school." So we go to the middle school. It's also just like us at the hill, on the hill at this point, because school, I think, just let out, so people aren't yet sledding. So we kind of have the hill. We're literally like kings of the hill at this moment. We have the hill to ourselves. And we're going down, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Kyle's having a great time. I'm having a great time. We're all laughing. It's sheer joy, like laughing for just cause of nothing's even funny. Nothing's funny, but everything's fun. And I think that's what people forget about funniness is that funniness isn't about like how cunning or how clever this little joke is that you're making. Funniness is about how much fun are you having right now. And that is why you can laugh sometimes even when nothing's funny, but you're just having like unbearable amounts of fun. And that is what happened when we went sledding. The fun was just so much to take that we couldn't do anything else. There was just no other choice but to break out laughing all the time once you get to the bottom of the hill. So that was so much fun. Um, Afterwards, we put on Charlie XCX's Sucker in the car and drove to the mall where we then got fries and froyo and ate it, and it was probably the best time of my life ever. And Kyle was like, I am so happy that I took off work today so I could come sledding. My friend Aiden was also supposed to join us, but then he was like putting together this writing sample for work, which he then got the job for. Because I was kind of like, boo hoo, how long does it take for you to put together this writing sample? But then he like got the job for it, and I thought it was a part-time thing, but it's actually like a full-time thing with like a real salary and everything. And I was like, oh wait, that changes things. That's crazy. I was like, I guess it's okay if you miss out on sledding if you're able to get a salary job out of it, you know? Um, that's crazy. Everyone say congratulations to Aiden. But that was so much fun. I guess those were all the times I went sledding from January 16th to January 22nd. I went sledding Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I went to like 7 different hills. And I went to one of those hills twice. Those are my hilling stats, my sledding stats for winter 2024. I hope there may be more sledding in the future, but it's getting pretty warm out here. There's absolutely, I feel like there's kind of just no way for it to snow. But I still hope it does. Either way, I hope if you're watching this, you walk away with the lesson that healing is the best thing anyone can ever do. Please, like, it's just the most fun. It will actually change your life. And I know it because it changed mine, and I saw it change the lives of Ellen, Noah, Michael, um, Justin, Kat, Kayla, Allison, Evie, Atam, Kyle. I saw it change the lives of 10 people right before my eyes. What more do you need? What other evidence must you see? Sledding is just the greatest thing in the world. I think it's the one thing that actually has the power to fix all the problems, and everyone should make sledding their first priority if they are in the position to be able to do so. And that is the hill I will die on. And yes, it's a sledding hill. So, period. That's my sledding for it's an hour. That's my sledding adventure journey for this year. It was the absolute most fun of my life. I'm so happy I went sledding. I can't wait to go sledding again. We had to duct tape my sled because it started breaking, and also one of the handles fell off. So I might have to get a new sled for next year. It's really crazy because I've had this sled since I was 5 and it's never failed me once, but now it seems like something's wrong because I sledded a little bit too hard. Sledding is dangerous. Michael sent me like a photo of his bruise like the next day, and I was like, that's like yellow and green. You know what I mean? I was like, that is crazy. Sledding did this to you. So everyone should go sledding, yes, but also be safe when you sled. Be so safe and have so much fun. Even if you get hurt, you will have fun. And I'm not sure if you can say that for certain other activities. You know? Yeah. Go sledding! Okay, bye.